Welcome everybody. Gavin Reshaw presents. Live doing it again. I will deliver a Saints prediction in my next video, which will be probably in a few hours after I finish doing some things. But what I wanted to talk about is something different. Um, I wanted to talk to you all about, first off, one of the things that's been going on in New Orleans after Katrina, what happened. I've been checking out a lot of these YouTube videos. In particular, there was a documentary on St. Henry's Catholic Church that was closed by the Archdiocese, one of the parishes that was closed by the Archdiocese of New Orleans by Alfred Hughes, Archbishop Hughes. Well, anyway, I was a member in New Orleans of St. Francis de Sales Catholic Church on 2nd Street, 2308 2nd Street. St. Francis de Sales, I want to give you all some history on that, was founded in the 1860s, 1867 by German immigrants. But what's most important about St. Francis de Sales was that it was the first, not first white, not first black, but the first Catholic church that first to ever perform gospel music. To perform gospel music. That was St. Francis de Sales, a historically black Catholic church, just like St. Augustine. St. Augustine Catholic Church, which is on Treme, Peter Claver, which is around that area too, past South Claiborne, in that general direction. Um, But St. Francis de Sales was one of the parishes that were closed by the Archdiocese and was merged. And I never thought I would say it, but well, I did say it. But even more so now, 2 years after it's closed, I miss my church. In part because I live up here in Baton Rouge, and when I go to these churches, it's not the music. It's not the same from what we had, what I grew up with. You know, the fact that we had the Sons of Thunder, the Golden Voices, the Angelic Choir, which was the children's choir. Uh, that was St. Francis de Sales, and every parish was unique. And the Archdiocese of New Orleans, and this is what I believe, and this is what I will tell you for a fact. Archbishop Hughes was a member of the Bring Back New Orleans Commission. Members of the Bring Back New Orleans Committee wanted to effectively get rid of, I'll just say it, they wanted to get rid of blacks that lived in New Orleans by shrinking the parishes. They tried to close off New Orleans East. This was from Joe Canizero, who was a member of the ULI, the Urban Land Institute. He was also on that committee as well, with a host of others. Uh, he was. They wanted to get rid of New Orleans East. They wanted to get rid of Lower Ninth Ward. They said these neighborhoods should not be built back. And what I honestly believe is that Archbishop Hughes saw this as was probably one of the people, and saw this as an opportunity to shrink and get rid of the historically black Catholic churches. Now, it must be said that there were other white churches that were closed as well, but not effectively as New Orleans, being that New Orleans had the largest black Catholic population in the country. Uh, I don't know if that number has changed now since Katrina, probably so, but it was only rivaled by Baltimore. Baltimore is the second largest. New Orleans was the first. But there were attempts made to save the churches, save St. Francis. It was to null and void because we were supposed to close New Year's Eve. Archbishop Hughes moved it up earlier at the last minute after people were protesting. And he's not the Archbishop of the city anymore, but I am still disappointed and disgusted that this has happened, but I believe and I know for a fact that these were part of a plan to shrink the city. One of the things and here's one of the reasons why. St. Francis Cabrini, which was in the lake, around the lakefront area, which was across from St. Raphael Church, in that well, not exactly across from St. Raphael, but in that same vicinity, was a beautiful church uh, that was demolished. A beautiful church like that demolished, and I didn't think a church like that could be demolished after it's been blessed, and it's especially it being as historical as it was. Um, but it did, and it just goes to show you that what happens is that greed always greed always tramples what's right. Greed always tramples good, and for those people like that, greed is good, as what Gordon Gecko would say, which is coming out the sequel of Wall Street, which is coming out in this Friday. But yeah, this is what it was all about. It's about money. It's about greed, and the new Bring New Orleans Back community wanted to get rid of these parishes, wanted to get rid of New Orleans East and the Lower Ninth Ward, and I figured since Ray Nagin opposed them, then they found another way to do it, and Archbishop Hughes shrunk those parishes. They were trying to close St. Augustine at first, but they moved the priest, by moving the priest, follow the do, out of St. Augustine Church. They did try to put it in a point where they wanted to close it, but then they brought Father Jocks over, and the it was made headlines. The parishioners protested, the volunteers as well protested Jocks being there, and uh, and they kept the church open. The church is still open, though Follow the Jew is not preaching over there. But there's more to the story than what's being told about what happened with St. Francis de Sales. But the reason the excuse that I should, there's a difference between an excuse and a reason. The excuse they closed, the reason why they closed it, we weren't making uh, our important benchmarks with in regards to sacrament and with regards to paying off a debt. But the real reason why they closed it was because I feel, to discourage and limit the amount of blacks that come into the city. If you can't keep them from coming out, why don't you just discourage them from staying in? Uh, Call me wrong, but that's my opinion about it. That's all I got to say today. Keep in mind, Saints prediction coming up tonight, Monday Night Football, baby. But yeah, I miss St. Francis de Sales. Uh, churches and churches like that, they don't have anymore. But I keep Christ in my heart. Thank you all.